Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Wildcat Basketball on the Wildcat Sports YouTube page and the NFHS Network. If you're tuning in for the first time tonight, I'm David Warrington. I'm coming to you live from Central City High School. The girls' game between East Buchanan and Central City just finished up about 15 minutes ago or so. The Wildcats came out on top with a 4-point victory over the East Buchanan Buccaneers in a tough, tightly contested contest. Next up will be the boys' game. These teams met twice a year ago, and the Wildcats came out on top on both occasions. Both teams come into tonight's matchup without a win so far this season, so tonight one of these two teams will walk away with their first victory of the year. The Wildcats come into tonight's game 0-6 on the year. Senior guard Marshall Vandevet is the leading scorer, averaging 14.7 points per game. He's followed in scoring by freshman Aiden Klosterman, who's second on the team, Aiden sitting at 9.3 points a contest. Sophomore Marcus Shellhorn is pulling down 5 rebounds per night. That leads the team in that category. Defensively, Vandevet is leading the team in steals with 2 per game, and Shellhorn leads in blocks at just shy of 1 block per game. The Buccaneers enter tonight's game with a record of 0-7. Caden Gage leads the East Buchanan Buccaneers in points at 15.5 per game. He's followed by Harley Nelson with 8.9 and Adam Hackett at 7.7. Nelson, a 6'4 senior, also pulls down 9.9 rebounds a night, which leads the team, while also leading in steals and blocks per game with 1.6 in both categories. So as I mentioned, both teams coming in looking for their first win of the year, as we're about 6.5 minutes away from tip. As East Buchanan currently on my left, warming up, getting some shots up before they get underway. This East Buchanan team had a couple injuries before the season started to a couple people that started the previous season and would have been starters this year. Keaton Kelly and Cole Bowden both not playing due to injury issues, as if I know what happened correctly, but I believe both injuries occurred during football season. East Buchanan, generally a solid football school, but 2 of their would-be varsity starters unable to play so far this year. So 5.5 minutes to go. Wildcats on the right side of me, getting some shots up. Again, both of these teams come in without a win so far in this still relatively young season. Only 7 games played for the Wildcats and 7 played for the Buccaneers. Looking at the Buccaneers' schedule so far, they haven't really had any games that have been super close either. They have had a difficult schedule so far this year, though. East Buchanan started their season with a game at home against Midland. They lost 48-34. They went to Marquette Catholic in a game they lost 61-41. Then they had a couple home games against Calamus Wheatland and Maquoketa Valley. They lost those 73-52 and 54-37 respectively. Then they went to Edco, where they suffered a 30-point loss, 74-44. Then they went home for a couple of really tough games. They lost to Springville 75-46 and Northland 85-24. So that's the Buccaneers' schedule so far this season to this point. Looking at the Wildcats, they've had 6 games so far this year. They missed their first 3 games of the year because Central City actually was doing online schooling for the first couple weeks of the season. So they missed 3 games, but those are supposed to be getting rescheduled here before too long. I think the Calamus Wheatland one actually was rescheduled. They played at Calamus Wheatland the other night. Well, looking at the games they have been able to play so far, they went to Midland for their season opener where they lost 71-37. Then they came home for a game against Central Ocator. They lost on a buzzer beater, 48-45. Then they hosted Alburnett in a game they lost 73-18. They went to Starmont where they lost in overtime, 53-45. Then they hosted the Maquoketa Valley Wildcats and lost 56-25. And then a couple of road games this past Monday and Tuesday. They went to Calamus Wheatland where they lost 70-37. And Edgewood Colesburg where they lost 69-26. And that's how we've gotten to where we are so far this season for both sides. We've got 3.5 minutes to go here before we get things underway for this varsity boys basketball contest. If you're just tuning in, I'm David Warrington. I'm coming to you live from Central City High School as the East Buchanan Buccaneers will host the Central City Wildcats. Or excuse me, the Central City Wildcats will host the East Buchanan Buccaneers. So 3 minutes on the clock before we tip off this contest. This should be a good, tightly contested contest. Both sides looking for their first win. You get to this point in the season, you're desperate for a win. It's probably going to be a scrappy contest. Maybe not the prettiest game you've ever seen. Both teams definitely are hungry for a win here tonight, and are looking to pick up win number 1 on this season. Taking a peek ahead to what's to come here for the next few games for the Wildcats. This is their final game of this week. They play again this coming Tuesday. They travel to Northland. I believe we're going to try to broadcast that one if Northland gives us permission to broadcast from their school, but we plan to broadcast that game. And then next Friday, the 15th of January, we host Springville. Sydney McCarthy will be on the call for that game. And then in the weeks to come, we have a busy week, the week of the 18th. Monday the 18th, we travel to Dunkerton. I will actually be calling that one. I believe that'll be on the Dunkerton YouTube page. I don't think that'll be on this YouTube page. But that game will be announced for free on YouTube as far as I know. Then we travel to Alburnett on the 19th, Tuesday the 19th. That is the game we're also hoping to announce if we give permission from Alburnett High School. So I will be on the call for that one if we are given permission to announce at Alburnett. Then Thursday the 22nd, we host Starmont in a game that went to overtime at their place. This will be a home contest. Presumably this will be announced. I haven't really heard anything either way, but there's no reason this one wouldn't be announced. Then we finally finish up the week in a game that's rescheduled. We'll play January 23rd at Prince of Peace. That's a 2-hour drive, so there won't be a broadcast on that one. But the Wildcats will have a very busy week next week. They're just wrapping up, or this is 2 weeks from now they'll have the busy week, but wrapping up their week of play this week. 3 games this week, and game number 3 is about a minute out from tipping off. The Wildcats are over on their bench, as the Buccaneers just have a handful of kids out there still shooting around, getting ready to go for this varsity boys basketball contest. Both teams heading over to the benches now. 40 seconds to go. "25 seconds and counting now before we get this contest underway. Buzzer sounds. And I will follow along with Denise McGovern as we announce tonight's starting lineups for both sides. Eight minutes set on the clock as after announced starters will be ready to go, and starters about to be announced here by Miss Denise McGovern. Now first for the Buccaneers, junior number 11, Kirby Cook. Junior number 15, Caden Gage. Junior number 21, Adam Hackett. Sophomore number 25, Dalton Kortenkamp. And senior number 33, Harley Nelson. Those are the starters for the East Buchanan Buccaneers. For the Wildcats, senior number 2, Marshall Vandevet. Freshman number 4, Aiden Klosterman. Junior number 21, Jack Kramer. Sophomore number 34, Marcus Shellhorn. And junior number 50, Troy Curtis. Assistant coach for the Buccaneers is Lee White. Head coach is Chad Lampker. Assistant coach for the Wildcats is John McGovern. Central City's head coach is Tanner Carlson. Both teams have been announced. Both teams on the floor, and we're just about ready to get underway. Buccaneers in their traveling reds with white and blue trim. Wildcats in their home whites with red trim on the bottom of the shorts. Marcus Shellhorn will jump for the Wildcats. Harley Nelson will jump for the Buccaneers. Varsity boys basketball between these Buchanan Buccaneers and the Central City Wildcats. underway right now as Marcus Shellhorn controls the tip, gives it to Jack Kramer, and now over to Van de Vet as we are underway. Van de Vet guarded by Hackett. Gives it over to Kramer, top of the key, now to Klosterman on the right wing. Shellhorn now over to Curtis. Van de Vet thinks about the three. Guarded by Hackett, gets past him. He's fouled. We'll see if that goes against, I think that was Kortenkamp of the Buccaneers. Waiting for the call from the official, but it will be Wildcat ball from sideline out of bounds. First team foul on the Bucks, and that one does go against Dalton Kortenkamp, sophomore for the Buccaneers. Inbounds pass goes to Klosterman. He's guarded by Kortenkamp, over to Van de Vet. Van de Vet over to Curtis, now over to Kramer on the left wing. Van de Vet, corner three on its way, it's no good. Ball being fought for, it's on the ground. Troy Curtis, great hustle, gets on the floor. The Wildcats won't get possession. The possession arrow favors the Buccaneers, but great hustle there by Troy Curtis. Getting on the ball, and now, at the very least, the Wildcats do have the possession arrow in their favor. Kortenkamp bringing it up for the Wildcats. Looks like Marshall Van de Vet is going to all-out deny Caden Gage. He makes a nice move, he gets the ball. Gage, easily the best player on this East Buchanan team. Hackett attacking, gives it back to Gage. He's double-teamed, and we've got a foul. Looks like it went against Kramer. Wait for the call, but that looks like what it was from what happened on the floor. Team foul number 1 against the Wildcats, and that'll be Jack Kramer's first foul. As Cook will throw it in, gets it into Kortenkamp. Wildcats in a box and one, all out denying Caden Gage. Kortenkamp looking around, gives it over to Hackett, now to Gage. He does a turnaround fadeaway jumper, it's good. Nice touch on that jumper by Caden Gage. Averaging 15.5 a game, he's capable of averaging a lot more than that. Klosterman gives it over to Shellhorn in the right corner. Down low to Kramer. Kramer gets it out of there, over to Shellhorn, now back to Van de Vet, right wing, guarded by Hackett. Hackett probably the best defensive player, or at least best perimeter defender on this East Buchanan team. Shellhorn over to Klosterman. He thinks about the three, attacking now. Gets to the rim. It's blocked out of bounds by Harley Nelson. The 6'4 senior uses his size to his advantage that time. Knocks it out of bounds. Wildcats will still have it though. Shellhorn to throw it in. Inbounds to Van de Vet. Thinks about the three, now attacking the basket. Stops. Has his fadeaway jumper blocked. Hackett going the other way. He's going to try to go coast to coast. He lays it up and in. As Adam Hackett gets the block and then finishes on the fast break. So 4-0, Wildcats trail. 6:15 to go in the first quarter. Kramer over to Shellhorn, top of the key. Over to Van de Vet. Attacking the basket. Stops over to Klosterman. Almost takes the three, now attacking. Back to Van de Vet. Almost loses his dribble. Now to Klosterman, just shy of half court. They're going to run a set play here. Over to Van de Vet. Shellhorn sets a ball screen. Van de Vet for three. It's no good. A good look off the screen, but couldn't quite get it to fall. Rebound picked up by Kortenkamp, but he's going the other way with it. Over to Hackett in the left corner. Guarded by Shellhorn. Down low to Gage. He brings it back out to the perimeter. Attacking the basket. Over to Cook. Cook down low to Nelson. Nelson turns, is fouled on the floor. No shot attempt. That'll be team foul number 2 against the Wildcats. Looks like foul went against, I believe it was Shellhorn. No, it was Troy Curtis. Troy Curtis called for his first fouls. The mid-range jumper by Nelson is just off the mark. Marcus Shellhorn pulls down the rebound. He leads the team in rebounding so far this year. Kramer has it in the wing now. Back over to Van de Vet, top of the key. Back to Shellhorn. He gives it to Curtis. Curtis gives it to Klosterman. Klosterman attacking, gives it to Van de Vet in the corner. His three's on the way. It's short. Caden Gage picks up the rebound, bringing it the other way now. Gage double-teamed right away. Kramer and Van de Vet both there. Van de Vet tips it, stolen away by Klosterman. Van de Vet going the other way. He gets Gage in the air. A nice move there by Marshall. Was being trailed by the 6'3 Caden Gage, but he stopped, faked the shot, got him in the air, and was able to finish the layup. 4-2 our score, 4:45 to go in quarter number 1. Kortenkamp over to Hackett on the left wing, trying to get it into high post to Gage. Nothing there. Kortenkamp does get into Gage now. Fall-away jumper on the way. No good. Too strong. Rebound tipped by Nelson, but apparently was touched by the Wildcats. And the Buccaneers will have it. Gage will throw it in for East Buchanan. Gets it into Hackett in the corner. Down low to Gage. Gives it over to Cook. Now bounce pass goes to Kortenkamp. His three-pointer's on the way. It's no good. Rebound fought for. Good fight by Shellhorn. Shellhorn won't get the rebound. Kramer will. But Marcus Shellhorn was responsible for that rebound after a great fight. Klosterman has it now. Attacking the basket. Nice move. He puts it up. No good. Can't quite get it to fall. And he's going to be called for a foul. And that's the textbook frustration foul. After missing, the shot probably should have been made. Ends up getting the foul. As we got our first sub of the night. It's going to be Caden Brockmeyer, senior guard for the Bucks, checking into the game. He will replace Kirby Cook as Kortenkamp throws it in. Gives it to Hackett. Hackett right back to Kortenkamp. He gives it down low to Nelson. His basket's no good. But there is a foul on the floor. And he'll go to the line to shoot two. Curtis and Shellhorn just neither of them were quite in position to stop him. Nelson kind of squeezed his way into the middle of it. That foul is going to go against Shellhorn. That's his first, team foul number 4. As Nelson goes to the line for 2. First free throw on the way. That one rolls around and out. No good. He'll get a chance for one more. Marcus Prusman is going to check into the game for the Wildcats. First sub of the night for Central City as Troy Curtis will go to the bench. Harley Nelson for his second free throw. On its way, it is good. And the Buccaneers lead 5-2. Low scoring affair to this point, halfway through quarter number 1. Set play being run by the Wildcats. Van de Vet has it on the left wing. Now back to Klosterman, top of the key. Dribbling to his left, now brings it back to his right. Over to Prusman, left wing. Kramer, top of the key, using the screen from Prusman. Gives it to Van de Vet. He thinks about a 3, he's not going to take it. Nice move there by Van de Vet. Over to Kramer. And now to Shellhorn. His pass is tipped away and stolen. Caden Gage running on the fast break. And he throws it up. That's got to be an offensive foul. And it is. Caden Gage just ended up way out of control. And I didn't quite see who took that. But good job by the Wildcat defense there to get in position and take the offensive foul. That's Caden Gage's first foul. Team foul number 2 on the Bucks. As Aiden Klosterman will bring it up for the Wildcats. Klosterman over to Van de Vet. Uses the screen from Shellhorn. He'll stop at the free throw line. Mid-range jumper's too short. Good hustle from Prusman, but there was nothing he could do there. As it goes out of bounds. Sub for the Bucks is number 31, Chance B. Chance making his first appearance in tonight's game. As the inbounds pass goes to Kortenkamp of the Buccaneers. Kortenkamp gives it over to B on the left wing. Now back to Kortenkamp, top of the key. Down low to Gage. Now to B. He takes the three-pointer from the left wing. It's just off the mark. A good-looking shot. Couldn't quite get it to fall. Rebounded by Klosterman. Klosterman attacking the basket. Has it tipped. Gets it back over to Shellhorn. Shellhorn for 3. It's too long. Rebounded by Gage. Gage running with it. He stops. Pull up for mid-range. That shot is no good. Ball's tipped. Rebounded by Shellhorn. And the Wildcats will bring it the other way. Aiden Klosterman has it. Over to Shellhorn, top of the key. Back to Klosterman. Now Van de Vet, top of the key, guarded by B. Attacking the basket, over to Shellhorn. Had an open look from 3, didn't take it after missing the previous one. Klosterman sends it over to Van de Vet. Castor Abernathy will check in for the first time at the next dead ball. Van de Vet attacks. He gets the floater to go, but the foul was called on the floor before the shot. So no basket. There was a foul called, however. Looks like 31 Chance B is called for the foul. Castor Abernathy and Troy Curtis both coming in for the Wildcats. For the Buccaneers, Tristan Russell, just a freshman, checking in for the Bucks. I'm guessing quite possibly the younger brother of former East Buchanan player Tyson Russell. He was a senior last year. Now Tristan Russell into the game for the Bucks. Inbounds pass goes to Van de Vet. Skip pass goes to Klosterman on the right wing. Klosterman thinking about it. Buccaneers sitting in a 2-3 defense. That's what they've been known for a long time. Pass goes over to Van de Vet, left wing. Over to Klosterman. He almost takes a 3. Step back, now passes it over to Van de Vet. Klosterman wanted the 3, but didn't think he had a good enough look. Van de Vet over to Klosterman. Now back to Van de Vet on the left wing. They're just swinging it around now, trying to find something inside. Prusman in the left corner, now back to Van de Vet. Van de Vet attacking, gives it to Klosterman. Ball nearly goes out of bounds. Nice save there by Klosterman to prevent the turnover. Now the Wildcats going to reset, run a set play here, try to see if they can get a good look. Troy Curtis is going to set the screen. Over to Van de Vet, fakes the three, now attacking the basket. Pass goes to Klosterman, and it's going to be out of bounds as he couldn't quite handle the pass. And the Buccaneers will have it. 1:23 to go here in quarter number one. Our score, East Buck 5, Central City 2. Dalton Kortenkamp bringing it up the floor for the Bucks. Gives it in the high post to Nelson. Now back to Kortenkamp. He takes three straight on top of the key. No good. Nelson pulls down the rebound, and he's going to be fouled. He'll go to the line for two. Nelson's a really good offensive rebounder, and there was no body put on him. Nobody boxed out, so was able to pull down the board. Couldn't get the basket, but he will go to the line for two. That foul is on Troy Curtis, his second, team foul number 5. Nelson's first free throw on the way. That one bounces around and out, no good. Jack Kramer and Marcus Shellhorn going to come back in for the Wildcats. Adam Hackett and Caden Gage checking in for the Buccaneers. Marcus Prusman and Troy Curtis will go to the bench for Central City. Correction, Caden Gage will not come back in quite yet, assuming he's for the shooter, as he's back at the scorer's table now. Nelson's second free throw on its way. That one's no good. Shellhorn pulls down the rebound, and the Wildcats will bring it the other way. Kramer crossing half court over to Van de Vet, guarded by Russell. He gives it to Klosterman top of the key, and now Abernathy. Over to Kramer top of the key now. They're moving the ball well, but haven't been able to get anything out of it. Kramer gives it to Abernathy. Kicks it back to Van de Vet on the right wing. Guarded by Russell. Now gives it to Abernathy, and now Kramer. Down low to Abernathy. A nice pass by Kramer. Abernathy has a shot blocked. Wildcats will keep it, however, as it went out of bounds off of the Buccaneers. As now Caden Gage will check into the game, and like I assumed, he is getting Harley Nelson, who was shooting free throws at the time he was originally going to come in. But Jack Kramer will throw it in for the Wildcats. Gets it into Van de Vet. Thinks about the three. Now gives it over to Klosterman. Abernathy in the corner. Good defense being played by the Buccaneers. Down low to Van de Vet. Kind of in no man's land, but he kicks it out to Klosterman. Almost loses it. Bounce pass, turnover. And now the ball's still loose. Great hustle there by Kramer. As we got a timeout on the floor called by East Buchanan. Coach Lamker of the Bucks called the timeout. It's been a hectic first quarter of play. I kind of mentioned in the opening there that this was quite possibly going to be a really scrappy, maybe not your prototypical pretty game, pleasing game to watch of basketball. Both these teams are hungry for a win. As I mentioned, neither team in this game has a win so far this year, and they want more than anything to win tonight. It's still a 3-point game here, 5-2 our score, 22 seconds remaining in quarter number one. The Buccaneers and the Wildcats both break their huddles and come onto the floor. Van de Vet, Klosterman, Kramer, Abernathy, and Shellhorn out there for the Wildcats. Van de Vet is still all out denying Gage as the inbounds pass goes to Tristan Russell, and now right back to Gage as he'll bring it up, 20 seconds to go. Gage with a very big height advantage over Van de Vet. Gage listed about 6'3", Van de Vet about 5'8". Gage attacking, gives it over to, now Hackett has after the pass was tipped. He puts it up. It's no good, too strong. Shellhorn pulls it down. 2 seconds, 1 second for Kramer to get off a shot. His shot's on the way. It's no good. Was just a bit too strong. Looked like it was on line, but can't quite get it to go. And we've played one quarter of basketball here from Central City. Our score, East Buchanan 5, Central City 2. And now we'll go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor, Next Bank. Next Bank is your bank for what's next. Your next car, next home, next business, next phase of life, or next adventure. 5 locations to serve you: Central City, Cedar Rapids, Marion, Coralville, and Waterloo. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. So a scrappy physical first quarter of play there by both sides. It's just a 3-point game, 5-2 our score. As it looks like the Buccaneers will be, or excuse me, the Wildcats will be getting it first. Wildcats break their huddle and come onto the floor. Same group is out there as we just had for the end of the first. Van de Vet, Klosterman, Kramer, Abernathy, and Shellhorn. Out here for the Buccaneers, we have looks like the people that started the game, we've got Cook, Gage, Kortenkamp, Hackett, and Nelson. Wildcats will have it. Van de Vet throws it in, and Klosterman will take it up to begin quarter number 2. Van de Vet has it now, guarded by Hackett, nearly loses it, does recover it. Now gives it over to Klosterman. Now to Abernathy, and now over to Van de Vet once again. A lot of movement here on the Wildcat offense. See if they can get a good shot. Abernathy has it now, attacking the basket. Down low to Shellhorn. Over to Klosterman in the corner. He's attacking the rim. Gives it to Shellhorn. Mid-range jumper on the way. It's too strong. Rebounded by Cook. A good look by Shellhorn. Couldn't quite get it to go. Kortenkamp gives it over to Hackett in the right corner. Down low to Gage. Gage uses his height advantage to get it in there, but it's stolen away. Jack Kramer comes up with it. Good defense there by the Wildcats. Kick ahead pass to Shellhorn. Now Klosterman. Fakes the 3. He's guarded by Kortenkamp. Now over to Van de Vet. Now Abernathy has it. And now back to Klosterman on the right wing. Klosterman attacking the basket. Bounce pass to Shellhorn. He takes a 3-pointer. It's on its way. It's no good. A good look, just a bit too short. And now Gage bringing it the other way. Attacking the basket. There's a lot of defensive pressure on him. And a foul called against the Wildcats. Kind of a late foul there. Looks like it's going to go against Jack Kramer. Believe that's his second. As Marcus Prusman's going to come into the game. Jack Kramer will check out. That is his second foul. Team foul number 6. So every foul the Wildcats commit from here on out, the Buccaneers are shooting free throws. Inbounds pass goes to Nelson. He puts it up. It is good off the assist from Caden Gage. Buccaneers lead 7-2 here. 6:45 to go in the first half. Van de Vet receives the pass from Klosterman. Now gets it over to Klosterman again, and Klosterman can't quite handle the pass. Slips right through his fingertips. It was a bit low. And the Buccaneers will have it. Looks like Prusman is in there specifically to guard Caden Gage. Prusman, a good defender. He is all out denying Caden Gage in this box-and-1 defense the Wildcats are running. Kortenkamp has it. Now over to Cook on the right wing. Down low to Nelson, but passes off the mark. Good defense there by Shellhorn to tip it out of bounds. And the Buccaneers will have it after it went out on Shellhorn. Throw it in. Gets it into Nelson, right back to Gage. Thinks about the 3, not quite there. Good defense by Prusman to prevent him from getting an open look. Now Hackett has it left wing. Down low to Nelson, back to Hackett. Hackett takes the 3. It's no good. Good fight by Caden Gage to get the rebound. Fall-away jumper's too short. Hackett gets the rebound. They're still fighting for it. Now over to Caden Gage on the right wing. Attacking. Prusman playing some solid defense here. Down low to Nelson. Nelson working on Shellhorn. Puts it up. No good. Good defense by Shellhorn as well as a couple other Wildcat defenders in there. As Van de Vet bringing it the other way. Van de Vet over to Abernathy, right corner. Down low to Klosterman. Klosterman puts it up. No good. No foul called. As Caden Gage is going to bring it the other way. Gage thinking about it. We've got a foul here. Looks like it's going to go against the Wildcats. That was Marcus Prusman, I believe. That's who they have. And Caden Gage will go to the line to shoot 1-1 as that was team foul number 7. 5.5 minutes to go here in quarter number 2. Wildcats trail 7-2. 1-1, so Gage needs to make the first in order to get a second. First free throw on its way. Gage, a really good shooter. And he knocks in that first free throw. He'll get a chance for one more. 8-2 our score. Gage set for his second free throw attempt. On its way, it's good as well. He makes both. As the Buccaneers extend their lead, 9-2 our score. Wildcats really need to get something going offensively, as we played almost a quarter and a half and they've only have 2 points. Foul called as Marshall tried to split the double team and was fouled there by a couple of East Buchanan defenders. We'll see who they actually called for it. Looks like that one's going to go against Adam Hackett. That's his first team foul, number 4. Inbounds pass goes to Klosterman. Klosterman over to Van de Vet, left wing, thinks about the 3. Now he's going to attack. Another foul called, and that one's also going to go against Hackett, I believe. So that's his second in about 3 seconds of game time. Team foul number 5 as Chance B is going to check in. Adam Hackett, after 2 quick fouls, is going to go to the bench. Abernathy will throw it in, gets it into Klosterman. And he's going to bring it up for the Wildcats. Set play here, gives it to Abernathy. Picks it up, now looking, gives it to Shellhorn, and now back to Klosterman. Klosterman gives it to Vandevet. Looking for somewhere to go with it, gives it over to Abernathy, attacking the basket, guarded by Cook. Now Klosterman on the left wing. Wildcat offense looking for anything here. Marcus Shellhorn, 3 on the way, it's too strong. Couldn't get it to go as the rebound pulled down by B and now given over to Gage. Caden Gage attacking the basket. Nice move inside as he gets the basket to go, but it looks like they called the foul on the floor. But that will be free throws here for a 1-and-1 as we are well into the bonus. Jack Kramer and Troy Curtis will check in for the Wildcats. Castor Abernathy and Marcus Shellhorn will go out. So 1-and-1 for Caden Gage at the free throw line. 9-2 our score, 4:42 to play in quarter number 2. First free throw on the way from Gage. It is good. Bounce off the front of the rim, then got the back of the rim, and then finally into the basket. As Hunter Bowers checking in for the first time tonight for the Buccaneers. Just a freshman making his first appearance in tonight's game. Gage with the second free throw. It's too short. Rebounded by Prusman. A good box out there by Marcus. As Aiden Klosterman gives it over to Kramer on the right wing. And we've got a timeout on the floor. Carlson calls the timeout for the Wildcats. And it's going to be a full 60-second timeout to try to discuss what's causing the offensive issues so far tonight, as they've only been able to score 2 points here, as we've almost played a full quarter and a half of basketball. So with 4:33 remaining in the second quarter, our score, East Buchanan 10, Central City 2. I'll go ahead and give another shout out to our sponsor, Next Bank. Next Bank combines the values of a locally owned, independent Eastern Iowa community bank with expanded services and the latest technology to meet our customers' fast-moving lifestyle. Bank on your success with Next Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. So the Wildcats hopefully trying to figure out what they need to do offensively to get some points on the board. The East Buchanan defense has been really good throughout the entirety of this game to this point. They've played both 2-3 and man-to-man defense, and both of them have looked really good. Vandevet will throw it in for the Wildcats. Kramer's going to take it up as he takes the inbounds pass. He's guarded by Gage. Big height difference here, as it looks like the Wildcats are playing a man-to-man right now, receiving the Buccaneers. Vandevet has it attacking. Gives it over to Klosterman. Now Kramer back to Klosterman. And a foul is going to be called. Looks like it's going to be against Caden Gage. I think that's his second. Team foul number 6 against the Bucks. That is Caden Gage's second foul. Something to watch as this East Buchanan team loses a lot of firepower if Caden Gage gets into foul trouble. Klosterman has it. Gives it over to Kramer. Now Vandevet top of the key. Open look from 3 on the way. It's no good. Just a bit short. As it was a good open look. Couldn't quite get it to fall. Chance B bringing it up for the Buccaneers now. He gets it over to Kortenkamp on the right wing. Kortenkamp back to B. B for 3. It's no good. Too short. Rebound's tipped. Still up in the air. Rebounded by Nelson near half court. Attacking. Now over to Bowers. Bowers takes one dribble. Puts up a long 2. That one's off the mark. Nelson, as I mentioned, he averages nearly 10 rebounds a night. Fights really hard on the offensive glass, and he's able to get that one. Vandevet over to Kramer. The Wildcats need to pass half court. They do. Gives it to Klosterman. Attacking. Klosterman puts it up. No good. Rebounded by Gage. It's been one and done almost the entire night for the Wildcats as Caden Gage loses it momentarily. B picks it up of the Buccaneers. Now over to Kortenkamp. Kortenkamp to B. Working to his right. Looking to get it to Gage. He does. He's quadruple teamed. And it causes a jump ball. 4 of the 5 Wildcat defenders were all over Caden Gage as soon as he got it. Jump ball was called, but that will favor the Buccaneers, so they'll get it back. Inbounds pass goes to Nelson in the high post. Gives it over to B. Thinks about the 3. He's going to take it out instead. Gives it over to Kortenkamp near half court. 3 minutes to go here in quarter number 2. Bucks lead 12-2. Over to Bowers. Dribbling to his right. Top of the key to Kortenkamp. His 3's on the way. It's good. Dylan Kortenkamp for 3. 15-2 our score. Vandevet bounce pass to Klosterman. Nearly stolen. Pushing ahead now is Klosterman. He gives it over to Prusman. Prusman takes the corner three. It's too long, rebounded by B. As Chance B running the fast break, gives it to Kortenkamp. He just hit 1-3, thinks about another, doesn't take it. Now over to B. Bowers calling for the ball in the left corner. And we've got an injury on the floor. It looks like Troy Curtis maybe got stepped on or something. Looks like his foot's bothering him. As we got a timeout to get him out of there. Tristan Russell's going to check in for the Bucks as Castor Abernathy and Marcus Shellhorn both going to come in for the Wildcats. Kramer and Curtis will both go out. Curtis going to gingerly walk his way off to the bench, and they'll take a look at him. Hopefully he's okay. As I didn't quite see what happened. I did see him go to the ground, though, but now Russell has it over to B, top of the key. Now gives it to Gage, guarded by Prusman. Looking for somewhere to go with it. Goes behind the back. Now over to Russell in the corner. He puts up a three. Tristan Russell, no good. Rebounded by Shellhorn. We got a foul. And we'll see. It looks like the foul actually went against the Wildcats. Interesting call there. As I believe they got Aiden Klosterman for the foul. That's team foul number 9 and Aiden's second. So Chance B will go to the line to shoot a 1-and-1. As Caden Brockmeyer checks back into the game for the Bucks. Caden Gage will go to the bench for a quick breather here. Foul trouble is something the Wildcats really need to avoid, as that first free throw on the way. It's good from B. As 1-and-1, so we'll have one more. This Wildcats team isn't deep as it is, and if Curtis is injured and can't come back, that really leaves 7 players total, and 6 players that regularly get minutes in the normal rotation, as that second free throw is good as well. So hopefully Curtis is okay, and hopefully the Wildcats can stay out of foul trouble here for the rest of this game. Long down court pass as a foul call was missed. Russell fouled Vandevet, or Klosterman rather, but no call. Ball does go out of bounds. As the Wildcats will get it 17-2 our score, as the Wildcats just haven't been able to get anything going offensively all night. Vandevet's going to have it now. He gives it over to Klosterman. Now to Abernathy and now Vandevet. Vandevet on the right wing, guarded by Russell. Gives it over to Klosterman. And now back to Vandevet. Vandevet over to Abernathy. And now back to Vandevet. Klosterman left wing, looking to attack. Gives it to Vandevet right wing. Goes across over. Pass over to Abernathy. It's tipped. Looks like Klosterman's going to be able to pick it up. 1:20 to go in half number 1. Vandevet attacking the rim. Gives it over to Prusman now. Bounce pass goes over to Klosterman on the right wing. Now Shellhorn top of the key. Klosterman three-pointer on the way. It's no good, just off the rim. And we're going the other way. Chance B will bring it up for the Buccaneers. 1 minute to go in half number 1. Wildcats trail 17-2. Tristan Russell gives it over to Bowers. Bowers attacking the rim. Foul called on the floor. He did finish at the rim, but the foul was before the shot. That's the 10th team foul. So Hunter Bowers will go to the line to shoot 2 free throws. The foul goes against Marcus Prusman. That is his 3rd. As I mentioned, team foul number 10, as we're in the double bonus. First free throw on the way from Bowers. It's good. He'll get one more. Jack Kramer is going to come in and get Marcus Prusman. As I mentioned, has 3 fouls now. Kirby Cook and Dalton Kortenkamp both checking in for the Buccaneers. Chance B is going to come out, as is Caden Brockmeyer. Curtis currently sitting down having his ankle taped. Not sure if he'll be able to come back into the game tonight. Hopefully we'll see him again, as the second free throw's on the way from Bowers. That one's good, as the Buccaneers lead 19-2. Klosterman over to Vandevet. Vandevet to Klosterman. Bounce pass to Shellhorn in the corner. Now Vandevet has it on the top of the key. To Klosterman, now back to Vandevet and over to Kramer on the left wing. Bounce pass into Vandevet. Over to Klosterman. Skip pass to Vandevet. Pass is tipped out of bounds. Wildcats will retain possession. Bowers was the one that got a hand on it for the Buccaneers. As Kramer will throw it in. Vandevet's going to bring it up. 25 seconds to go here in the second quarter. Vandevet over to Klosterman. Wildcats need to work quickly here. try to find a good shot. They only want one more shot before the half. Van de Vet guarded by Russell. Has it near half court. Over to Abernathy. We're under 10 seconds now. Van de Vet looking to go. We're down to 5. Klosterman over to Kramer. Kramer with a shot at the buzzer. Three-pointer is short. No good. And that is going to do it for half number 1. We've played 16 minutes of basketball here. Our score, East Buchanan 19, Central City 2. So just nothing going offensively in half number 1 for the Wildcats, as they only managed to put up 2 points in that entire first 16 minutes of play. The Buccaneers only put up 5 points in quarter number 1, so we had a 5-2 difference after 8 minutes of play. But the Buccaneers went on a bit of a scoring run there, able to put up 19 points in half number 1, as Wildcats still stand at just 2. So while we're in this halftime break, I'll go ahead and give a shout out to our sole sponsor of Wildcat Sports, Next Bank. From your first checking account to your first car, first mortgage to retirement, and all the money matters in between, Next Bank people relate to you because they're your people. They are in your community, sitting beside you at the kids' games, working local fundraisers, and shooting the breeze at the grocery store. Start building the banking relationship of a lifetime with Next Bank. Conveniently located in Central City, Waterloo, Cedar Rapids, Marion, and Coralville. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. As always, huge thank you to Next Bank for everything they do to support Central City as a town, as a school, and of course the Wildcat Sports broadcast like this one you're listening to right now. If you're just joining us here recently, I'm David Warrington. I'm coming to you live from Central City High School for a varsity boys basketball matchup between the East Buchanan Buccaneers and the Central City Wildcats. We're currently at halftime of the boys game, and the Bucks, with their resounding defense, lead 19-2. Wildcats could only muster up one layup throughout that first 16 minutes of play. Earlier in the night, we had a girls' basketball game, also between East Buchanan and Central City. That was a hotly contested matchup and between two really solid teams, both fighting for the 4th spot in the conference. And the Wildcats did come out on top of that one, a 4-point difference, 39-35, I believe was our final score in that one. So a really nice game a little bit ago here by the Wildcat girls basketball team, so definitely big shout out to them. But as I mentioned, we're here at halftime, about 7 minutes to go here. Before we started this game, I went over the Wildcats' upcoming schedule, but figured I'd do so again in case anybody wasn't here to listen to it. And also mention kind of how we're planning to announce, if we're going to be able to announce those games. So this is going to be the final game for this week. The Wildcats come back to play. They have a game on the road this coming Tuesday, January 12th at North Lynn. That's a really, really solid North Lynn team, undefeated if I'm not mistaken. As I mentioned a little bit ago, we do plan on announcing that game if North Lynn tells us we have the go-ahead to come to their school to announce. So we do plan on announcing that game. I think I will be the one doing so if we get permission from North Lynn. And then Friday the 15th, we are back at home against Springville. And that will be Cindy McCarthy on the call for that one. She'll be announcing that game against the Springville Orioles. And then January 18th, that's a Monday, the Wildcats travel to Dunkerton. And I will be announcing that one, but I believe that is through the Dunkerton YouTube page. So won't be here on the Wildcat Sports page, but that game will be broadcasted, as far as my understanding goes, on a YouTube page for free for you to go ahead and listen in. And then just the next day, Tuesday the 19th, we travel to Alburnett. It's the same deal as the Northland game. We are going to try to get permission from Alburnett High School to be able to go into their school and announce that one. So I believe I will be announcing that one as long as we get the okay from Alburnett. And then our busy week continues, as on January 22nd, we will host Starmont, who a little bit earlier in the season, before the Christmas break, we went to Starmont for a road game. It was a good back-and-forth game. The Wildcats did fall in overtime, but the Wildcats really looked like they had a chance to come out on top. Just didn't quite have enough to finish that one out, but it should be a good one. And then they conclude their busy week on Saturday, the 23rd of January. They travel to Prince of Peace over in Clinton, Iowa, about a 2-hour drive. So I don't think we'll be announcing that one at all, but will be a good matchup. This is a reschedule. This was supposed to be, I want to say this was supposed to be the Wildcats season opener. But of course the Wildcats were going fully online for classes as basketball season started, and you're not allowed to compete in athletics or any other activities when that is the case. So the season was pushed back a little bit, but we're well into things now, and I'm glad to be playing basketball, and I believe wrestling had a home meet last night, so glad we're able to get our winter activities underway. Looking past that, we will be at Maquoketa Valley on the 26th, hosting Edgewood Colesburg on the 29th, travel to East Buchanan February 2nd, host Northland February 5th, and our season concludes on February 9th at Springville. So that is what's coming up for the Wildcats as we look ahead to the rest of this season. Right now, we've got a little under 4 minutes to go here before we play half number 2 of this one between the Central City Wildcats and the East Buchanan Buccaneers. Both teams come into this game looking for win number 1 of this still relatively young season. Buccaneers sit at 0-7 coming in, the Wildcats 0-6. As the Buccaneers just now exiting their locker room, coming back onto the court to get some shots up before half number 2. They're to my right, putting up some shots, as I mentioned a little bit ago. They're in their traveling red uniforms. They've got white and blue trim going down the sides. So they're on their basket, warming up, getting ready for half number 2. Couldn't ask for a much better defensive effort if you're East Buchanan, as they only gave up 2 points in a full 16 minutes of basketball. The Wildcats really need to get going offensively, and they'll need to clamp down defensively as well in order to get back into this one, make it a little bit more competitive, and hopefully give the Bucks a run for their money down the stretch. One of the biggest contributing factors for the Buccaneers in that first half was Harley Nelson. The 6'4" senior forward for the Buccaneers was really working hard on the glass, especially the offensive glass. He averages nearly 10 rebounds a game, and you could tell by his rebounding effort in half number 1. Wildcats will have to make sure they're putting a body on him, knowing where he is at all times when the shot goes up, and boxing him out in order to prevent him from having those second chance opportunities. Wildcats just now coming back onto the floor as they will get prepared here for half number 2. We have about 2 minutes to go here before we get things underway for our second half of action. Wildcats did get into the double bonus that first half. They had 10 fouls as a team. Marcus Prusman sitting at 3, Jack Kramer with 2. I don't think anybody else has 2, but that could be incorrect. So outside of Marcus Prusman, no real foul trouble to speak of yet. But Prusman will have to just be careful. Not surprising that he's in foul trouble, as he has been tasked with all denying Caden Gage, which is not an easy task for anybody. Gage, he's a almost 6'4" guard, averaging 15.5 points per game for the Buccaneers. And the way he can shoot it and drive to the rim, he definitely could be averaging more than that. So tough assignment, as Prusman did a pretty good job there of holding Gage the best he could. Vandevet also did a solid job when he was on him as well in that first half. We're down to about a minute here before we get going for half number 2. As both teams are just getting up their final shots. A couple players here and there starting to get back over to the bench now. As we're down about 45 seconds to go here before half number 2. All the Wildcat players still getting up some final shots before we get ready for our third quarter of basketball here tonight from Central City. Again, our score, East Buchanan 19, Central City 2. So the Wildcats back over to their bench now as they get some last-minute instructions from Coach Carlson as they get prepared for half number 2. Clock about to hit zeros as the buzzer sounds, and we're just about set for third quarter of action here from Central City. Possession arrow is in favor of the Wildcats, so they will get the ball here to start quarter number 3. Wildcats about to break their huddle and come back onto the floor. Wildcats break their huddle. They're going with Vandevet, Shellhorn, Kramer, Klosterman, and Prusman to start the second half. Curtis still on the bench. Looks like he may be able to come back into the game tonight, but he's not going to start the second half. For the Bucks, it's the starters that started the game. Camp, Gage, Nelson, Cook, and Hackett. We're underway as Vandevet has it in the right wing. Skip pass goes over to Kramer. Looks like a 1-3-1 being played by the Buccaneers. Vandevet deep three on its way. It's too short. Offensive rebound by Prusman. He puts up a shot. It's no good. Looks like it hit the top of the backboard, so we're going to be going the other way with it as that's out of bounds. Cook's going to throw it in. Wildcats look like they're playing a full court press. And Hackett gets the pass, running up the floor. Pass is almost tipped. Nelson comes up with it. Looking to go up with it, but he can't. Good defense being played by the Wildcats. Klosterman tips it away, running in the full court. Gets to the rim. He's going to be called for a travel as he kind of lost control a little bit there as he got to the rim. And he's called for the travel as the Buccaneers will have it. Inbounds pass goes to Camp. Now skip ahead pass to Cook. Prusman's right there. Nice defense, but an over and back is called as it's not one of those plays that typically looks like over and back, but Camp had actually just jumped over the half-court line when he caught it, and he hadn't established himself in the front court yet, so that is over and back. Good call there by the official, not a call that's very easy to see, as Vandevet has it on the right wing. Now spins back, going the other way, gives it to Klosterman left wing. Skip pass back to Vandevet now, looking to attack the rim. Fakes a shot, throws up a floater. It's good off the glass. Marshall Vandevet with the Wildcats' second bucket of the night. It's 19-4. Camp gives it over to Cook in the corner. Cook, three-pointer on its way. It's too long. Rebounded by Prusman. A nice, strong defensive rebound there by Marcus Prusman of the Wildcats. Kramer kicks it ahead to Vandevet in the corner. Vandevet attacking, throws up a floater. That's no good, just in and out. Couldn't quite get it to fall. Caden Gage loses it, but Camp picks it up. Skip ahead pass to Cook. Almost loses it, and he does end up turning it over as he couldn't quite handle the pass. Gives it to Kramer, and now over to Klosterman. Vandevet now on the left wing. Back to Klosterman, top of the key. He takes a three. It's on its way. It's no good. A bit too strong off back iron. Rebounded by Harley Nelson of the Bucks. 6 minutes to play in quarter number 3. 19-4 our score in favor of the Buccaneers. Goes down low to Nelson. Now Hackett picks it up. His shot is no good. Was just about halfway down before bouncing out. Klosterman bringing it up. Gives it over to Kramer. Kramer has it in the left wing. Skip pass to Shellhorn, who wasn't looking. Shellhorn didn't notice the pass coming his way, and it goes out of bounds. Chance B is going to check in for the Buccaneers. Kirby Cook's going to come out of the game. The Wildcats on their full court press double-teaming Caden Gage. Vandevet and Kramer both on him, but he has such a height advantage they could almost just give it to him anyways. They give it to Nelson instead, and he's going to give it to Camp. Across half court to B, attacking the rim, 3-on-1, down low to Hackett. His shot's no good. Good defense there by Shellhorn. Ball's loose, picked up by Vandevet. As he loses it off his foot. An unfortunate turnover there for the Wildcats as Vandevet just lost control of the ball. And we're going the other way as the Buccaneers will have it. Camp to throw it in. Gives it into B. B bringing it over to the left wing. Gives it over to Kortenkamp on the right wing. Right back to B. He's going to take one dribble. Pull up three-point shot on the way. No good. Rebounded by Prusman, and he gives it over to Van de Vet. Van de Vet bringing it the other way. He's got all 4 of the Wildcats' points so far. He stops, gives it to Kramer in the corner. Three-pointer on the way from Jack Kramer. It's no good off back iron. Rebounded by Caden Gage. Kick ahead pass to Kortenkamp. A nice down-court pass. He can't quite finish at the rim. And the Wildcats will get it. It was a good-looking pass from Gage. But Dylan Kortenkamp of the Buccaneers couldn't quite finish. Inbounds pass goes to Klosterman. There was good hustle there defensively by the Wildcats to get down there and affect the shot as much as they could. Klosterman kicks it ahead across half court to Kramer. Now over to Prusman. Back to Van de Vet. Van de Vet for 3. It is no good. Just off back iron. Rebounded by Gage of the Buccaneers. Caden Gage running in the full court. He's tripped. Loses the ball. Van de Vet fakes the pass. He puts it up. It's no good. Rebounded by Nelson. And he gives it over to Kortenkamp. The offensive struggles continue for the Wildcats. 4.5 to go here in the third quarter. 19-4 our score. The Buccaneers lead. Long skip pass to Kortenkamp. Now in the corner to Hackett. Down low to Nelson. Nelson got wide open after Klosterman ended up on the ground. I'm not sure if he got pushed or what happened in there, but Klosterman just wasn't able to get up in time as he somehow ended up on the ground. Klosterman has it now. Loses it momentarily, now gets it back over to Kramer, top of the key. Over to Shellhorn, and now Van de Vet. He thinks about 3, doesn't take it. Gives it to Klosterman, attacking the basket. Strong move, it is swatted out of bounds, and the offensive foul to boot. A rough series of events there for Klosterman as he both had his shot blocked and the offensive foul called. As Tristan Russell is going to check in for the Buccaneers. That is Aiden's 3rd foul of the game, team foul number 1 for either side in half number 2. So B will throw it in for the Buccaneers. Pass is tipped. Aiden gets the steal almost. Still loose. B ends up picking it up. B kicks it ahead to Nelson. One-on-one between Nelson and Shellhorn. He kicks it out to B. From three-point line, it's no good. Off the mark. Rebounded by Van de Vet. Van de Vet running in transition. Attacking the basket. Now Kramer thinks about a 3. Is going to attack instead. Loses it. Gage picks it up. There's nobody between him and the basket. Nearly turns it over. And traveling violation called against Caden Gage of the East Buchanan Buccaneers. As he lost it there on the fast break. Looked like he had an open path to the rim. But he turns it over. And we've got a timeout on the floor. 30-second timeout called with 3:23 remaining in the third quarter. The Buccaneers lead 21-4. So coming out of the timeout, it'll be Wildcat ball after the turnover there by Caden Gage of the Buccaneers right before the timeout was called. Same group on the floor for the Wildcats. It's Van de Vet, Klosterman, Prusman, Kramer, and Shellhorn. The Buccaneers have Russell, B, Gage, Hackett, and Nelson. Inbounds pass goes to Klosterman as the Buccaneers are in a full court press. Van de Vet has his pass tipped, stolen away by Tristan Russell. Freshman guard kicks it ahead to Gage. Pass is too tall, even for the 6'3" Gage, as Van de Vet's bringing it the other way. Van de Vet stops, fakes the shot, over to Prusman. Prusman looking to attack. Falls down, gets the pass away, though, before he does. Over to Kramer. Back to Van de Vet, takes a deep 3 from the volleyball line. It's no good, just short. Shellhorn with the offensive rebound, and he puts it in. A great offensive rebound there by Shellhorn. He puts it in for the basket, and we got a foul called. Jack Kramer, I believe that is his 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. It'll be foul number 2 on the Wildcats as a team for half number 2. So 21-6 our score. That was indeed foul number 3 against Jack Kramer. Inbounds pass goes to Tristan Russell of the Buccaneers. Kicks it ahead to B, crossing half court. Ball's loose, picked up by Kramer. Kramer goes between his legs and now gives it over to Prusman in the right corner. Prusman looking for somewhere to go with it. Gives it over to Van de Vet. And now Klosterman left wing. Guarded by Russell. Now back to Van de Vet, top of the key. Into the corner with Prusman. Prusman looking to attack. Picks up his dribble. Pass is tipped away and nearly stolen, but it's going to go out of bounds. as the Wildcats will keep possession. And Hunter Bowers checking in for the Buccaneers. Adam Hackett will come out, as the Wildcats also have a sub. Castor Abernathy is going to come in for the first time this half, as Marcus Prusman will go to the bench. Van de Vet will throw it in for the Wildcats. Inbounds pass goes to Kramer. Over to Klosterman. We got 2:20 to play here in quarter number 3. Van de Vet looking to attack. Gets it over to Abernathy in the corner. Now Klosterman left wing. Klosterman attacking, and he's going to be fouled. And I believe they got him while he was shooting, so I think he's going to be going to the line here to shoot 2 free throws. Looks like the foul went against Chance B of the Buccaneers. That's his second foul, team foul number 1 for East Buck in the second half. Aiden Klosterman going to the line to shoot 2. With 2:06 to go in the third, our current score 21-6 in favor of the Buccaneers. First free throw is up and good from Aiden Klosterman. So that makes it 21-7, and Klosterman's got one more free throw to come. Second free throw on its way from Klosterman. That one's good as well. Doesn't even touch the rim on either of them. Inbounds pass goes to B. He kicks it over to Russell. Russell nearly loses it. Gets it back, gives it over to B. Good defense here by the Wildcats, but they do break the press. Pass is tipped by Abernathy. It's going to go out of bounds off of Castor, but a good job there by Castor to tip the ball before it went out, which caused it to go out of bounds. Bowers will throw it in for the Buccaneers. Gets it into Russell. Russell gets it down low to Nelson. He gives it over to Gage, and Caden Gage finishes the shot. A good cut there by Gage to get open, and a nice find by the Buccaneers as Harley Nelson with a nice pass. Van de Vet attacking now, gives it over to Abernathy, and now over to Klosterman. Kramer top of the key. Thinks about a 3, now kicks it back over to Klosterman. Klosterman attacking, trying to get to the rim. Ball is kicked off the foot of one of the East Buchanan defenders. The Wildcats will keep it here. 1:22 to go in quarter number 3. As Caden Brockmeyer is going to check into the game for the Buccaneers. Caden Gage will go to the bench. Kramer will throw it in for the Wildcats. Gets it into Klosterman. Open look from 3. It's no good. Rebounded by Bowers. A good look, but Aiden couldn't quite get it to go. Russell gets it over to Brockmeyer. Now attacking the rim. Gets it to Bowers. Corner 3 on the way. It's good. Hunter Bowers with a 3-point basket. As the Bucks increase their lead 26-8 here with 1 minute to go in the third quarter. Kick ahead pass to Van de Vet across half court. Down low to Shellhorn. Skips it over to Abernathy for 3. It's no good. Just off the mark. Thought he had that one, but he couldn't quite get it to fall. Bowers, a long 2. It's good. Just 2 points as the foot was on the line, but he does get the basket to go as we got a foul on the floor as well. Foul's called against Marcus Shellhorn of the Wildcats. And he's going to come out as Troy Curtis. Glad to see him checking back into the game. He went out late in that second quarter with an apparent ankle injury, but he is back in there now. As Klosterman gets it on the inbounds. Now over to Van de Vet trying to get across half court. 30 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Klosterman attacking the basket. Down low to Curtis. Curtis fakes. Shots off the mark. Rebounded by Bowers. And he gives it over to Russell. They've got 20 seconds to work with here in quarter number 3. Kick ahead to Bowers. He thinks about a 3. Gives it down low to Nelson instead. He finishes at the rim for 2. 30-8 our score here. 10 seconds to go in the third quarter. Wildcats have to work fast to break this pressure if they want to get a shot off. Klosterman over to Kramer, attacking the basket, down low to Curtis. He puts up a mid-range jumper. It's short, rebounded by Russell. And that is going to do it for quarter number 3. We've played 3 quarters of basketball here from Central City. Our score, East Buchanan 30, Central City 8. So as we take this quick break between quarters, I'll go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor, Next Bank. Next Bank is a financially strong community bank. Invested partnerships help their customers achieve what's next for their financial dreams. Next Bank has 5 locations to serve you: Central City, Cedar Rapids, Marion, Coralville, and Waterloo. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. So as always, big thank you to Next Bank for all they do to support Central City, as the Wildcats are back onto the floor for quarter number 3. The Wildcats have Van de Vet, Klosterman, Prusman, Abernathy, and Shellhorn out on the floor. 8 minutes to play in this ball game. Buccaneers lead 30-8. Again, both teams tonight looking for their first win of this season, as the Wildcats will need a really big effort here in the fourth quarter to get win number 1. On the floor for the Buccaneers, we've got Kortenkamp, Hackett, Gage, Nelson, and Cook. The 5 that started the game out there to start the fourth quarter for the Bucks. Gage takes the inbounds pass, pull-up jumper on its way. It's no good. Rebounded by Cook. His shot's blocked. Looks like we got a jump ball called. And that should be going for the Wildcats. As possession arrow says East Buchanan, but they also just got the ball to start the half, or start the quarter, so the issue is corrected as the Wildcats get it. Inbounds pass goes to Van de Vet. And he has a long skip pass way off the mark intended for Abernathy. As the Buccaneers will take over as that pass went out of bounds. Caden Gage will throw it in for the Bucks. Gets it into Cook. He hands it off to Kortenkamp. He gives it over to Gage, or excuse me, to Hackett. Hackett trapped. Now he does give it to Gage. Nice pass there to Cook, attacking the rim. He puts up a floater. It's no good. He gets his own rebound, however. Cook pulls it down, gives it over to Hackett. Over to Kortenkamp. Open look from 3. It's good. Dylan Kortenkamp knocks down the 3 as the Buccaneers lead 33-8. Inbounds pass goes to Klosterman. Over to Van de Vet. Now pass is stolen away. Kortenkamp with the steal. Down low to Gage. And he's going to finish and one as he finishes through contact. As the Buccaneers really starting to pull away here in the fourth quarter, as Jack Kramer is going to come in for the Wildcats. As Marcus Prusman is going to come out. Foul win against Marshall Van de Vet. Just his first team foul, number 3 of the second half. As Caden Gage will get a chance for one more at the line. Free throw on its way. That one's good from Gage as the Buccaneers lead 36-8. Inbounds pass goes to Kramer. He gives it back to Van de Vet. We've got just over 7 minutes to play in the ball game. Klosterman skip pass down court to Shellhorn. He hands it off to Van de Vet. Van de Vet looking for somewhere to go with it. Bounce pass to Klosterman. He has it on the left wing, looking to attack. Now over to Van de Vet. Pull-up three-pointer from Van de Vet is off the mark, too short. Rebounded by Gage, running in transition. Gets to the rim, he puts it up off the glass and good. Caden Gage finishes at the rim as they increase their lead here 38-8. Klosterman bounce pass to Kramer. Kramer gives it behind him to Klosterman. And looks like, looking for some clarity on the call here. Looks like it's going to be against the Bucks. Adam Hackett of East Buchanan tried to take a charge. They didn't give it to him as he's called for the blocking foul. That's his 3rd foul, team foul number 3 against the Bucks in half number 2. As Klosterman has it on the right wing, guarded by Hackett. Buccaneers back in a 2-3 defense. Pass goes over to Van de Vet. He takes the 3 on its way. It is no good. Off the side of the rim. Nice save there by Klosterman, but goes right to Kortenkamp. Gives it down low to Nelson. He puts it up, a nice finish there, spinning by Harley Nelson of the Bucks as they continue to increase their lead here, 40-8 our score. Caden Gage comes up the steal as he puts it in off the glass. Looks like he might have wanted to dunk it, but lost a bit of his momentum after he almost carried the ball. Ball kicked off the foot of Klosterman. Nelson gives it back to Gage. Gage puts it up, no good, too short. Deep defensive rebound picked up by Kramer. And the Wildcats call a full 60-second timeout. With 5:32 remaining in the fourth quarter, our score, East Buchanan 42, Central City 8. So Troy Curtis will be checked in for the Wildcats after this timeout. He was already at the scorer's table, and now Marcus Prusman just went over there as well. So he will also be coming in. Looks like Van de Vet's going to come out for the first time tonight, as both teams on their benches talking it over here. 60-second timeout called by the Wildcats. And again, 5:32 to play here in the fourth and final quarter as the Wildcats trail 42-8. East Buchanan really pulled away here in this fourth quarter. The Buccaneers break their huddle, come back onto the floor. On the floor for the Bucs, Kortenkamp, Nelson, Gage, Hackett, and Cook. Wildcats, Vandevet, Klosterman, Kramer, Prusman, and Curtis on the floor. 5:32 left in the ball game as Klosterman will bring it up for the Wildcats. Crossing half court, gives it over to Vandevet. He fakes a three, now has his pass tipped, but Kramer does end up getting the pass. He's looking around for somewhere to go with it. Not seeing anything, does get it to Klosterman, back to Kramer in the corner. Double teamed, and looks like he was fouled as he was trying to attack the baseline. That's going to be foul number 4 on East Buchanan in this second half. It's going to go against Adam Hackett, and that is also his 4th foul of the contest. One more, and he's going to be done for the night. Kramer will throw it in. Kramer gets it into the corner to Klosterman, now over to the top of the key to Prusman. Bounce pass to Vandevet, right wing. He takes the deep three on its way. It's good. Marshall Vandevet knocks down a deep three-pointer. First three-pointer of the night for the Wildcats as Vandevet gets it to go. Nelson over to Gage. Gage attacking. Has the ball stripped from him. So we've got a foul. It's going to be a shooting foul. Caden Gage is going to go to the line to shoot 2. Foul is called against Troy Curtis. Believe that's his 3rd of the night. Team foul number 4. It is indeed Troy's 3rd foul of the game as Caden Gage goes to the line for 2 free throws. First one on its way is well short. Missed everything on that free throw, which is kind of surprising. He's been money on most of his free throws, but that one is a bit off the mark. As Hunter Bowers checks in for the Bucs, as does Caden Brockmeyer. As Caden Gage will get a second free throw here. 42-11 our score, 4:52 to play. Second free throw is good from Caden Gage as he gets 1 of 2. Inbounds pass goes to Kramer, now over to Klosterman. 4:50 to play in the game. Klosterman goes between the legs, now over to Kramer. Looking for somewhere to go with it, gives it into the corner to Curtis. He's double teamed right away, gives it out to Vandevet. Thinks about a 3, now gives it over to Kramer, top of the key. Pass is tipped and stolen by Kortenkamp. Pass ahead to Gage. Spin move, and he finishes at the rim. Nice spin move there by Caden Gage to finish, as the Bucs lead 45-11. And Caden Gage comes up with the steal, but looks like they're going to get him for a foul, as that's team foul number 5. That is Caden Gage's 3rd foul of the night, as Tristan Russell and Chance B are going to check in for the Buccaneers. Dalton Kortenkamp's going to come out, as is Harley Nelson. Kramer inbounds to Vandevet. Corner 3 on its way. It's good. Marshall Vandevet knocks down another 3 as he's found his shooting touch here late in this one. 45-14 our score. Gage attacking. Kicks it over to Brockmeyer. Looking to get to the rim. Now down low to B. B has a tough time handling that pass. Over to Tristan Russell. Back to B, attacking baseline. He puts it up with his left. It's no good. Just rolled across the rim and out. Rebounded by the Wildcats. Klosterman tried to pass it, but he kind of lost it and then didn't really have anywhere to go with it, as that's a turnover. As checking in for the first time tonight is number 43, Ben Hesner, and he will replace Caden Gage, exiting the game presumably for the final time tonight, as all 5 starters for the Bucs have come out now. Over and back is going to be called against the Bucs as they're trying to break the pressure being applied by the Wildcats. So Vandevet will throw it in for the Wildcats. Klosterman will take it up. 3:45 to play here in this one. Wildcats lead 45-14. Klosterman over to Kramer. Attacking, and he's fouled. That one's going to go against Caden Brockmeyer of the Buccaneers. Team foul number 6. So from here on out, we'll be shooting. That is Brockmeyer's 1st foul. Kramer will throw it in. Gets it into Vandevet in the corner. Now back to Kramer. Skip pass over to Klosterman, top of the key. Looking to attack, gets it to Prusman on the left corner. Attacking, he puts up a layup. It's too strong, no good. Rebounded by Hesner, but stolen away by Klosterman. His pass is nearly stolen, it is stolen. And looks like Klosterman's going to be called for the foul. It's team foul number 5. That is Aiden's 4th foul of the game. He's got 1 more to work with. B will throw it in for the Buccaneers. Russell will take it up. Russell over to B. That's now Hesner has it, top of the key. Gives it over to Russell. Uses the screen from Hesner. Kicks it over to B now on the short corner on the left side. Dribbling it back out. Guarded by Kramer, looking to attack the basket. Throws it up, no good. Rebounded by Brockmeyer. His three's on the way, it's no good. Bowers pulls down the board. He puts it up, it's no good. He gets his own rebound. But Troy Curtis actually comes out with it after a bit of a fight there. And it looks like we do have a foul on the floor. The foul went against Hunter Bowers trying to get his own rebound. We are in the bonus, so 1-1 here as Castor Abernathy and Marcus Shellhorn re-enter for the Wildcats. Although Shellhorn will not come in quite yet as he's going to get Troy Curtis, who's shooting the 1-1 right now. Christopher Greif also checking in for the first time tonight for the Wildcats. Troy Curtis at the free throw line to shoot the 1-1 for Central City. First one on its way. It is good as Troy knocks down the first one, so he will get to shoot the second half of this 1-1. 2:48 to go in the fourth. The Buccaneers lead 45-15. Curtis' second free throw on the way. That one's no good. Rebounded by Brockmeyer. Running the floor. Bounce pass to Russell. He fakes the shot. Now puts it up. Tristan Russell gets it to go off the glass. Nice finish inside by Russell. 2.5 minutes to play here in the ball game. Kramer over to Abernathy in the right corner. Has his pass tipped. And it's stolen away. Hesner comes up with it. Gives it over to Russell. Russell gives it over to Brockmeyer. He shoots a pass over to B, and he finishes at the rim. A nice laser of a pass from Brockmeyer to B as Kramer's bringing it up now. Goes behind the back, guarded by Brockmeyer. Gives it over to Prusman in the short corner. Nearly loses it, but he hangs on to it. Attacking the basket, and we got a foul. It's going to be a defensive foul, blocking foul called against the Bucks. That one's going to go against Hunter Bowers. And so we are in the 1-1, so Prusman will go to the line to shoot the 1-1. Marcus Shellhorn will now check in as he's going to get Curtis a little bit ago, but was shooting the free throws. Also for the Buccaneers, Graham Erickson making his first appearance in tonight's game. Hunter Bowers just picked up his third foul, will exit the game. Again, Prusman shooting 1-1 for the Wildcats. First one on its way. It's too strong. No good as rebounds picked up by B. And the Buccaneers will go the other way with it. Just under 2 minutes to play here in the ballgame. Gives it to Russell in the corner. He takes a three on its way. It's no good, just off the mark. Abernathy skies up for the rebound. Gives it to Kramer. Kramer guarded by Russell attacking the basket. Abernathy for three from the right wing. It's no good. Castor couldn't quite get the three-pointer to go. B bringing it up the floor, guarded by Prusman. Now over to Brockmeyer in the corner to Hesner. Hesner for three. It's no good off back iron. Rebounded by B. Little contact there down low, but no call as looks like we got an injury on the floor. Jack Kramer grabbing at his ankle. That's never a good sign. As we just got a minute 26 to play here, and this one is going to see. Hopefully Kramer's okay. As looks like Marshall Vandevet's going to come back in to get him here after Kramer's able to get up and get off the floor. Looks like an ankle injury as he was grabbing at it now. Our trainer here at Central City, Beth, working on his ankle a little bit. He's going to get up. Walking gingerly, but he is walking under his own power, so that's good to see. He has a very noticeable limp, though. Hopefully he'll be all right. As, again, Vandevet checks in for Kramer. So the Buccaneers will have it here. A minute 26 to play in the fourth. 49-15 our score. Inbounds goes to Erickson. He takes the corner three. It's good. Graham Erickson just checked into the game a little bit ago. Knocks down the three-pointer from the corner. Vandevet has it. Gives it over to Greif in the corner. Greif picks it up, back, looking for somewhere to go with it. Now gives it to Abernathy on the right wing. Over to Vandevet in the corner. Three-pointer on its way. It's good. Marshall Vandevet knocks down his third three-pointer of the night. Makes it 52-18. Russell over to Brockmeyer. Now Hesner in the corner. Hesner working to his right. Back to Brockmeyer on the right corner. Attacking baseline. He kicks it out to B. B with a corner three on its way. It's no good. And rebounded by Hesner, but it looks like he stepped on the out-of-bounds line, as we do have running clock here, as we have gone over the 35-point barrier to begin the running clock. So inbounds pass goes to Vandevet. He's going to bring it across half court. Nice move up the middle, gives a floater on its way. It's no good, rebounded by B. 25 seconds to play here, as Chance B of the Buccaneers gives it over to Russell. Looks like they might be looking to just hold it out and finish this one. We'll see what they decide to do here. 10 seconds to go. Seem to have no intentions of trying to run up the score at all here. So 5 seconds left, 2 seconds, 1 second, and that's going to do it for tonight's matchup. Our final score, East Buchanan 52, Central City 18. The Wildcats had a much better scoring effort there in that second half than they did in the first half, as they managed to put up 16 points in the third and fourth quarters after only putting up 2 points in the first 2 quarters. But the Buccaneers do come out on top in this one, and they get their first win of the year. They move to 1-7 on the year. So ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for tonight. An exciting night of basketball here from Central City, as the girls picked up win number 6 on the year to stay in 4th place in the conference. The boys fall to East Buchanan in a tough game, as East Buchanan picks up win number 1. So ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for tonight. Thank you very much for tuning in. I apologize for the technical difficulties we had in that girls game that made it a bit difficult to hear listening in on this broadcast. I think we've got that figured out. Hopefully we won't be having those issues again. But again, apologize for that. And until next time, I'm David Warrington. Thank you so much for listening. And until then, go Cats.